This is NIADA TV, the official streaming TV show for the National Independent Automobile Dealers Association, whose mission is to promote, educate, and advocate for the nation's independent dealers. Let's get today's show started. Welcome to NIADA TV, the official streaming show of the National Independent Automobile Dealers Association. I'm your host, Corey Mosley, and I'm thrilled to have you with us. We have another great show for you today, including my interview with Patrick O'Brien, NIADA's new Director of Government Relations and Compliance. But before we get to that, let's take a look at some of the latest headlines shaping the industry. Used vehicle financing remains majority. Used vehicles remain the majority of vehicles financed in the first quarter of 2025, but the percentage dropped from the previous year. According to Experian's Auto Finance Market Report, 56.7% of vehicles financed in the first quarter were used, with an average age of 3.83 years. The percentage of subprime borrowers grew slightly from 20.59% to 20.69%, with the average amount financed increasing from $26,054 to $26,144. Navigating the 2025 NAAA policy updates, a guide for independent dealers. As the National Auto Auction Association rolls out new policy updates, we urge independent dealers to take note of the changes as they continue to partner with NAAA member auctions in the year ahead. NAAA recognizes and appreciates the contributions of NIADA and its members in fostering greater transparency and alignment across the industry. Generally, the NAAA updates its arbitration policies on an annual basis to keep them fair, ethical, and aligned with current industry standards and regulations. The most recent changes took effect June 1st, including updates to the Certified Program Overview, the ADAS Position Statement, and they're not subject to arbitration clauses. You can find the full details on these updates at niada.com/dashboard. On May 19th, NIADA welcomed Patrick O'Brien as the new Director of Government Relations, bringing more than 25 years of experience working for Congress, federal agencies, and directing government relations for multiple associations. Patrick stopped by NIADA TV for a chat about the current state of affairs and some of the things on the horizon that independent dealers need to know about. Here's that conversation. So Patrick, I want to first give you the official welcome to NIADA, and second, welcome you to NIADA TV. Super excited to be talking to you today. How are you doing?
I'm very well. The pleasure is all mine, Corey. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to have a discussion with you and to talk about what's happening in Washington and to fill in the NIDA members about the latest and greatest in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, the latest and greatest. There's a lot going on, certainly. Now, Patrick, you're leading government relations and compliance. What does that actually look like when it comes to growing the voice and influence of independent dealers?
Yeah, thanks for the question. The vast majority of vehicles sold in the United States are used cars, somewhere in the neighborhood of 75%. And part of growing the brand of NIDA in Washington is amplifying exactly that. The role that independent auto dealers are playing on Main Street America, growing the economy, building jobs, putting affordable cars in the hands of middle-class America. And really part of that is making sure that we're advocating and advancing smart public policy that are in the best interest of the independent automotive industry, and also regulations that are common sense and easy to comply with so that our members they know exactly what the rules of the road are with respect to the requirements under law.
Yeah, now I covered this in a previous episode that when we announced you coming to NIADA, that you came over from the CFPB. So with your experience at the CFPB, how would you describe kind of the current regulatory landscape and what should dealers be paying close attention to right now?
Yeah, Corey, that's a fantastic question. And I think any Washington watcher out there is certainly paying attention to what's happening at the CFPB, which is virtually a regulatory standstill. In fact, most of what's transpired over the last 4 months has been either rescinding statements that were not bound by rules and not bound by notice and comment, going back 11 years, either dismissing or greatly attenuating lawsuits and enforcement actions. So what we're seeing, at least at the federal level, is largely a deregulatory posture. Now, granted, the FTC has They have a quorum of commissioners, and we expect they will continue to move forward. They haven't done anything in the auto space yet, but that's not to say that they won't in due course. But the CFPB has made it well known that their plans for the immediate future is to really focus on large depository institutions and any area where there's duplicative regulation. And by duplicative regulation, what they're getting at there is if there's overlap at the state level, they're going to generally defer to the states in terms of enforcement of the consumer protection laws. So my main message to our members would be this is not anything to celebrate. In fact, it's something to pay even closer attention to because many states, if not all, have some semblance of consumer protection laws on the books, particularly those that impact unfair and deceptive acts and practices. And these states are really going to go out of their way to fill the vacuum that's been created by the CFPB. So paying very close attention to what the states do, making sure that your shops are in order, using NIADA as a resource if you have questions about compliance, because we really want to make sure that our members are set up for success in this state of regulatory uncertainty, which is certain to happen and continue for the next several years.
Yeah, certainly the state level completely changed the game on a lot of things. Now, from a federal standpoint, you recently sent a letter to the Senate Finance Committee about making sure the proposed tax deduction for auto loan interest includes used cars. Can you break that down for us? What's the goal here, and ultimately, where does the association stand on it?
Yeah, thank you. Happy to do so. So, just by way of background, since not everybody follows the capricious whims of Congress, what's happening right now is what's known as budget reconciliation, which is a very, very surgical parliamentary procedure that obviates the need to deal with the filibuster. So, essentially, anything that's budget related that's in the reconciliation passes with a simple majority. You can vote the House and the Senate. So, these measures tend to move very quickly. We were very pleased to see the House bill include a provision that allows qualified auto interest loans to be deducted above the line, which of course means regardless if you are a tax itemizer or not, you can avail yourself of this provision. And NIADA and the auto community writ large generally interpret that provision as applying to both used cars and new cars. So what our focus now is working with the Senate to ensure that what the Senate version looks like has similar language in there to ensure that all of the customers that NIADA members sell vehicles to are able to take advantage of this important tax deduction and really help to use that deduction to and put that money back into the economy, which is frankly the sole reason why they're passing this to begin with, to really add more money into the economy and allow people to really lift up our economy in all the right ways.
Savings is exciting, and it gets people to spend and put dollars back in, which means purchasing more vehicles, which all of our independent dealers want for sure. So, advocacy, that's an important word, right? Advocacy sounds great, but what does real involvement look like for the average dealer? How can they step up and make an impact through the association?
That's a fantastic question. It's a timely one too, frankly, Corey. I would say first and foremost, the most important thing that they can do is to attend NIADA's policy conference in September, where you are in the front row seat of government with the ability to speak directly with policymakers as practitioners in this space to explain to them directly how smart public policy really does impact their livelihoods. And then I would also say really pay attention to what NIADA and the state associations are monitoring and publishing. If you see something that is of interest to you, take it upon yourself to act. I am a resource. I want to make sure that members know that they can freely reach out to me at any time, whether it's to seek technical assistance about how to engage their member of Congress. If they want to go so far as to submit a comment letter to a pending regulation at the federal agency, that's what I'm here for, to set them up for success and to help them advocate for their own livelihood.
Wow. Well, we are going to leave it there. Such great information. I appreciate you stopping by, Patrick, and we're looking forward to all of the work you're going to be doing as Director of Government Relations and Compliance here at NIADA. Thanks for stopping by.
The pleasure was all mine, Corey. Thanks very much.
You're welcome. Well, that does it for today's show. Thanks for watching, and be sure to share this episode with your industry friends, partners, and colleagues. I'm Corey Mosley for NIADA TV, and I'll see you next time.